Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to the full stack development session. So before I jump into what exactly the full stack development is and what exactly things, technologies we are going to learn with respect to this full stack development. So let me give you some some brief introduction about myself. My name is Keshav. I've been working as a full stack developer around 9+ years, and I've been into both front end and back end technologies. Front end side, I've been working as Angular and React developer. Coming to the back end side, I'm having good experience in Java language and as well as Node.js technology, and with the different databases, be it relational databases or it could be any NoSQL style databases. That's it. That's small introduction about myself. So, without any further delay, we can jump into the topic, full stack development. So, before I start what exactly the full stack development is, let me talk about the basic types of software applications which we usually observe in our computer. So when we are talking about the software applications, majorly there are two categories of applications. The one is, so instead of writing that name here, I will be writing some examples for that so that you may get some idea. The calculator which is present inside your computer, or the application which I'm using now, that is Paint, Microsoft Paint, or something like Notepad, or any media player, etc. You'll be having the media player slide. This is one category of applications, and the next one here is, so within the same computer you can open something like a Gmail application, something like a Facebook application, Book My Show application, or IRCTC application, etc. So these are the two major categories we do have with respect to software applications. So what is the fundamental difference which we observe between these two categories? If you look at that simple examples, I just want to know from your end as well before I tell what exactly the difference. Just let me know, guys, in the chat box, or you can even unmute yourself. You can talk. Like, what is the difference you're able to see just by looking at these examples? What is the difference which is coming into your mind? What is the first category and what is the second category, and what's the difference you find?
Okay. The second is the web applications. First is an app.
Okay. Good. Any others? Any answer from others?
There is no server-side communication in the first.
Mm. Good.
The information is stationary in the first one.
Okay. Yeah.
In the second one, the information is dynamic.
Dynamic is good. That is one point here. Any other difference which you find, even if you are not having much idea regarding the technologies as well, still you can talk just by looking at those examples.
Here, whatever data is saved, it will be saved in the client only. But
Okay.
yeah, Facebook, Gmail, we cannot save in client
Okay, where it will be saved?
on the server
Okay, okay,
database.
good. Okay, okay, good. Yeah, okay, guys. Then, yeah, whatever the answers I got, 2 3 answers which are pretty much near to the answer. Yes, good. But before I talk about some technicalities of these two, uh, just by looking at these as examples, I can say To run the first category of applications, we don't require internet connection. But when you wanted to work with this second category of applications, you require internet. Yeah, as I told you, it's from the layman's perspective, like the guy who doesn't know anything about the technology, servers, clients, who doesn't know anything, but still you can see this difference, right? To run the first kind of apps, applications, you don't require internet, whereas in the second one to run, you definitely require internet. Why actually this one? Because to understand this, we have to understand first these two categories. So actually the names of these two categories are, the first one is known as standalone applications, whereas the second category is known as web-based, or people call it as web applications. So both are same, web-based applications or web applications. So in order to run standalone applications, what exactly the standalone application is about, and I'll see here, we need one computer, one PC. Inside that, one application will be installed. An application will be installed once. So something like that, it will be installed. And you can run it for any number of times you want it. And to run that applications at a time, only one system must be in working mode. That is your own client, your own system, that should be in working mode. That's it. You don't require any other system support to run that application. So whatever the application you wanted to run, just install that in one computer and just open that application in the same computer and start working with that application. And it doesn't require any other computer support to run such applications. That is the reason that name itself is suggesting that stand-alone applications which do not depend on other computer or something else, other system. Or so this is about your standalone applications. When it comes to the second category of applications here, what happens is here two systems should be in a working mode actually. In order to work with the second category of applications, two systems must be in a working mode. One system is actually known as client system, and the second system is known as the server system. So the one is a client system, and the second one is called as server system. And these two systems must be in connection with each other. So both should be in connection with each other. So in order to have that establishment of connection, what you have to do, you need to find that server address wherever server is. Then from that, for your client machine, client is like your own computer or your own PC or tablet, whatever it is, that is client. So from this to that server machine, if you really wanted to develop uh, the communication or the connection, you have to come up with your own connection, like maybe the physical wire you have to develop or something. But technically, practically, it's highly impossible to have it, right? So that's the reason here. What we do have here is, in the world already one connection is there, in which all the what we call computers are connected together, all systems are connected together, and that connection, that line is nothing but the internet here. So to that, so many computers are connected. So for example here, so this could be your computer, and this could be your friend computer, this could be your another friend computer. So like that, this could be your college computer, or this could be some your relative computer. This could be a Facebook server computer, and this could be a Gmail server computer, and this could be a Twitter server computer. This could be a, something like IRCTC server computer. This could be something like BookMyShow server computer, something like that. This could be some other YouTube server computer. You understood? So like that, all these computers are here connected through this established connection called internet. Okay. Assume the first one, your first box indicates your client machine, and this some big boxes to the right side indicating like your server machine. See, whether it is server or client, whatever it is also a system, so do remember that. So that is connected to internet. Okay, fine. Now if we have these many systems, assume like this, the first one is your client system from which you wanted to actually connect to it, right? So in that scenario here, so this is your system, and this is the something Gmail server system. Assume your application is Gmail. No? You wanted to connect to that one. So as all are connected to this same internet, right? You need some specific identification number through which you can able to detect the specific computer. So for that reason, we do have a concept called IP address, right? So with the help of that IP address, you can able to connect to that particular server system, and then later you can do some activities. But remembering the IP address, if you are talking about Google Gmail server example, I'm telling, I'm not sure what is the IP address. Maybe something 192.10, something like that. If it is there, then remembering that, and Facebook server, it is absolutely a difficult task, right? So for that reason, at the back end, it will be connected through IP addresses only, but we do have something called domain names concept, and with the help of the domain names, we will be connecting with one system to other system. So the domain name is nothing but, if you take the same example here, instead of having that Gmail's IP address of 192 point something like, instead of that, you do have something like this, some domain name for your Gmail application. So with the help of that, we can able to connect it to the uh, that particular server system. Understood, right? So we now need to establish the connection between the client system and then server system. So once that the connection is established, so from the server system, from the client system, client will be sending some data to the server system. Server will be sending some response back to the client system. So like that, some activities will be happening between the client system and server system. Okay, fine. As of now, what is the category of application? Standalone, which does not require any other system support. Only one system is required where application is installed and used any number of times. But when you're talking about the second category, you require two systems at a time to be connected, your own system and your server system. Okay, to make it that connection possible, we use the internet and we connect it through domain name instead of IP address. Okay, fine. That is also. But where is what we call the concept of full stack coming into picture? That is what we are going to learn now. So as we got something like client, we got right just now, client system will be there, and the next is something like server system, right? Okay, what exactly will be there in the client system, and what exactly will be there in the server system? So generally, what exactly will be there is, people will be entering some data in the client system. That, like, first they'll be opening a browser. Inside the browser, web pages will be opening for them. There they will be entering the data, some data. Assume like they want to do some activity called registration activity, just like that. I'm telling example. Okay, there is one application, maybe some social media application, or anything like e-commerce or whatever it is, or else like say something like a Gmail kind of application, assume. So you are doing some sign up activity. The moment you click register button, then what happens, from this client level, the data will go, and the data will transfer from your client level to the server level. So inside the server, what will be there is, you will be having certain program to handle the data which is coming from the uh, client side. That is, assume for example here, you do have one module or one program which handles registration of activity, registering the users. Okay, so the data whatever you transfer will get and will store, will get into this module, registration of user. Next, okay, assume. Now what exactly this registration of user will do is it internally calls a database. You know that, right? Because you wanted to store the usernames for longer durations. You want to store it, right? If you want to store it like that, then definitely you require a database where the data will be stored permanently. So that program, whatever you have written for registration activity, right? So that program will be calling the database, and your data will be stored inside that database. Next day, when you wanted to get into that application one more time, at that time you don't require what we call to register one more time. What you will do instead of that, you'll be doing simply login or sign in. At that time you'll be providing only two details, username and password. Then the same details will be sent to the same server, but this time the activity will be taken care by another program here. The second module is there, right? Something in the inside the server. So that will be taking care of the data, whatever you are entering, like username and password. So this program will be activated now. The second one, so this one. So earlier for registration, this one was there. Now for login, the second one, green color one. So what exactly this will do is this will take the data, whatever it is coming from the front end, like username and password. It again calls uh, from your database. It gets the data from the database. What data it will get is from that username, what is the exactly password. That password will be retrieved here, and that password will be compared with the entered password. So for example, yesterday, assume like you are done with this registration. Okay, at that time you gave something name as something Ajay and some password as something like 123. Today you entered username as something Ajay, but password as something some ABC. Now what happens is, for that name called Ajay, what is the exact password that will be retrieved from the database? Both will be matched here. If both are not matched, then what happens? One error message will be generated. You'll be staying in the same page, login page only, but one error message will be generated within the server, and the same error message will be sent from your server machine to the client machine. Okay. So that will be sent from here to there. Whatever you enter in the registration page, and if you click register button in the client side browser, then that data, all the sign up related data will go and will get inside a server page, and server program server will call the database, and data will be stored. Next time you are doing login, at that time if you provide proper username and password, then that will be checked from the database, and okay, everything if it is fine, then what happens is uh, if the checking is done, then assume like no right username and password, no match found, then error message will be generated and that will be sent. Else home page will be generated. If both are properly matched, username password, then a home page will be generated, and that will be sent from your server to client. Actually, whatever it's been sent from client to the server machine is called request, guys. So whatever we send from client machine to the server machine is called request. That is like your login details, or your sign up details, registration, whatever it is. Or and here from server, whatever it's been sent from server to the client side is called response. So this is called request, and this is called response. Whatever we do on a web page at browser level is considered as a request. For example, if you're entering something in that input box and send it, or if you're clicking some button, and all these things would be considered as a request here. Same first one also. See, if you're done with the registration, the moment you click that register here, then data will be taken and data will be stored in the database. At that time, if once the data is properly got and stored, then you'll be generating one message in the server, like some status message or something like that. Registration successfully finished or complete. That kind of what you call message will be generated, and that will be sent to the client. So this is what about your web application working style. In other way, I can say every web application working contains the series of request and responses, or request and response cycles will be there for the working of any web application you take in this world. Just a minute, guys. Sridhar, could you send your details like your mail ID and as well as your phone number to Visualpath admin in this private chat? You can send your details either to me, Visualpath, or to Visualpath admin, Sridhar.
Okay, fine.
Okay, that's it. See, this kind of request and response will be there. So here I mentioned, like, in the server side, the first box will be responsible for doing the registration. Second one is responsible for doing the login activity. Assume like someone wants to just search friends in the Facebook kind of application. Then what he wants to do, he has to enter some uh, names, right? Just like some name he has to enter in the search box, like some name which starts with VI, something like that. Then if you enter like that, then it should populate Vinay, Vijay, something like that, Vignesh, something, Vinayak, something like that. Some names should be displayed or populate over there. So for that to happen, here I can have search related program. These things I can call modules, guys. The first one I can call registration module or sign up module. The second one I can call the login module. Third one I can call uh, a search module, and fourth I can have something like payment module. If it is a e-commerce application, you do have payment, right? Yes, like the different things will be there. See, if I call them as module or some component or whatever it is, uh, at the uh, at the end it should be a program. So I am telling like data will come from the client and data will be stored in the server. Server will take the data and it will call the database and stores the data into the database. If any other request comes, it calls the data from the database, it compares. I'm telling all these things. It is doing. So it is doing means no one will sit inside the server and they will do for you, right? So means how it is happening, because some program is already written inside the server and that is taking care of that. So the server side, all the programs here, registration, login, all these things are together written. That's why we call all the things together as software, or what we call server side software. That server side software is already created or written, then only this will be happening. So to create such things, so to create the software, you have to develop the programs. Like this modules, you have to develop the programs. So in order to develop that program, you need to take the help of the programming language. When you are talking about the server side development or server side, what you call this modules development or program development, you need the technologies which are server side technologies. So in that category, we have something called Java technology, and we have Node.js. See, it is like either you can have the knowledge in Java, or you can have knowledge in uh, Node.js technology, or you can have knowledge in Python, or you can have knowledge in .NET, something like that, for example. So these are the technologies which are used to develop this server side programs and altogether the server side softwares. Clear. So, but when you're talking about the real-time scenarios and real-time development in the industry, if you wanted to develop the server-side program with any of the technology, for example, you're sticking to Java, the entire development of such programs will not be done with the help of these programming languages alone. What exactly I wanted to convey here is these programming languages have some supporting things like what we call it is like framework. There is a concept called framework. What exactly this framework will do is framework is not a programming language. It's not a programming technology, programming language, but it is like something which is developed on the top of some programming language. For example, if you take Java, there is a concept called Spring. Spring is developed on the top of the Java. What exactly this frameworks will do is they will make the life of the developers easy. It will be having certain recommendations and certain rules to develop the programs. If you use such rules, then the development will become easy, or at least it will become faster, and so many predefined things will be there. If you can use them, your activities will be done on time, it will be done quickly. So for that reason, people will be using something called framework. For Java, you do have something called um, Spring kind of thing, and for Node.js, you do have something called Express. For Python, you have something called Flask or something like Django. People usually call some people Django, whatever. Django is there. For .NET, you have something like .NET Core. Something kind of some support of framework will be there. If you're talking about the real-time development, you don't develop the things just with the help of the technology. You take the help of, along with the technology, you'll be using something called its framework. Clear? So this is about your how your server side technology and everything will be developed here. And all the things whatever you develop this side server side together along with your database is actually known as, or what usually people call it is a back-end development, guys. People call this entire thing as a back-end development, and the engineers or the software programmers who work on these areas are called back-end engineers, or with the help of with the name of that technology, they will be called like Node developers, or Python developers, or Java or .NET developers. So this is about your back. Next comes your client side. Okay, this side when data comes, what should happen? You are writing some code using Java and all fine, but how people will enter data? Where people will enter data? People, okay, assume like Gmail is your application. People will open that gmail.com, but what should happen? The moment whenever people opens that browser, in that people connects to your domain, at that time some website should be open to them. Website, if I'm talking, that should be containing some what I can say, list of web pages. So what exactly a website will be containing? It will be containing some collection of web pages. So this client side, what should be there is website should be there, and that website is nothing but a collection of web pages here. So this website will be acting as a client side software here for your from the browser. The website, whatever it is opening, is acting like a client side software. And inside the server, whatever using Java, some code is written, that will be together, all together working as a server side software. But this website will be inside the browser of your client, will be acting as a what we call client side software. If you wanted to work with any web-based application at a time, these two softwares must be in working mode, or these two systems must be in connection mode, so that people can able to work with these things. The utility of the application can only be used only at that time if both are connected together. Okay, the ultimate thing is like in a website and a collection of web pages means, as it is a collection of web pages, if you know how to create a web page, you can create different web pages, right? If you know one web page, you can create other web pages also. All these web pages together, integration of web pages will give you website. Means if you wanted to develop anything related to client side, you need to develop the web pages first of all. So in order to do that, there are certain technologies will be there which will be using. So to develop these web pages, we have to use the technologies like HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The three technologies are must here. So here I am using the word HTML and CSS and JavaScript. Here I used uh, either Java or Node or Python or .NET. But here this side HTML, CSS, and as well as JavaScript, because these three are required. Okay, as I'm telling, three are required for creation of a page, means definitely there should be the role for each technology, right? What exactly HTML will do should be there. What exactly the CSS will be doing here should be there. What exactly JavaScript will be doing here, you should be aware of it. Clear? Now, when you're talking about that, what exactly this HTML will do? HTML is mainly responsible for adding the content to your web page. Whatever you open any web page, what you observe in the web page, anytime you open any web page, you can see some text related content. Yes or no? Certain paragraphs, some headings, or whatever it is. Next, that everything, paragraphs or headings or images or links or whatever you see on any web page will be added only with the help of the HTML. Next, when it comes to CSS, it is responsible actually for the appearance of the page. So in other words, I can say the help of the CSS, you can add some stylings to your page. So the content will be added with the help of HTML, whereas the stylings will be added with the help of the CSS. But when it comes to JavaScript here, using HTML and CSS, you can only develop the site or website where the data will be like static, like whatever you write as a programmer, that only can be seen by the user. User can't even interact with that application. He can't do anything with that application. For example, dynamic changes won't be there. Just for a simple example, I can tell you. Uh, if you are applying for some online application, there if you choose some option like it will be there like are you experienced professional or fresher. If you click fresher, nothing will be there. But the moment if you click experience, one special box will be open, right? There you have to provide experience details. But the moment if you click choose fresher, no box. If you choose experience, then box will be there. You know that, right? That is what. So using HTML alone, CSS alone, I can't achieve that. I can keep that box can be there or box cannot be there, but I cannot do when user is clicking, selecting fresher. At that time, box should not be there. If user is selecting experience, then only box should be there. That I cannot achieve with help of HTML. So for that, I need JavaScript. So what exactly this JavaScript will do is it will be adding the uh, dynamic nature to my web pages, and by adding such dynamic nature, it decides or it is responsible for the behavior of the web page. That is like if one chooses fresher, then how it should behave. If one chooses like experience, then how the day layout should behave. Example I told, like that you have so many examples. See, you do have some two boxes where enter present address and permanent address. In between you will be having some small checkbox. Please check here if both the present and permanent addresses are same. If you check that, what happens, you don't have two boxes, only one box will be there. If you don't check that, two boxes will be there. That I cannot achieve through my HTML. That is what I want to say. Because at that time, if user selects what, see, assume like two people who are opening this application in their respective computers in their client systems. One is opting for same as permanent present address same. Other is not opting for it. Then for that person, one person it will be like only one box. Other person two boxes. That is what behavior of the page. So that decided by the JavaScript by adding some dynamic feature. Okay, fine. So now with the help of these technologies, you can develop this, and with the help of these technologies, you can develop the backend side. See, as I'm telling, this is server side is the backend side, right? So obviously, this client side development is actually known as front end side, guys. So we call it as something front end side. Why we call this as front end side? Because if you open any application there, you cannot see what code is written for the server, or what exactly the language is used for the server side, or what database you are using. Nothing can be seen if you open Gmail or whatever it is. But what you can see, if you open a Gmail, you can see the home page of the Gmail, you can see the login page of the Gmail, you can see registration page of the Gmail, right? So that is nothing but the front end. We call it as a front end. Right. So this side box is known as the front end of the application. This is also known as UI of the application. We call it as front end, and we can call it as the user interface. We can even call it as a UI. Why we call it as UI? Because if any user wants to connect to our application, he can connect only through uh, front end, only through that website, only through web pages he can connect. He cannot connect directly to the server, right? So that's the reason we call it as a UI. And this side we call, just now we talked about it, that is called backend. So in the industry, whoever is working on this server side development of this server side programming are called Java developers or Node.js or backend developers. And the guys who are responsible for creation of the web pages and subsequently the website designing and in that website development, such persons are known as front-end developers, guys. So this used to be the scenario in the industry in earlier days. There are certain people who are responsible only for the front end, and there are certain guys who are exclusively working for back end development. But nowadays, what is happening is the guys whoever is working on front end side and as well as this back end side together, both front end and back end, who is responsible for the development of both front end as well as back end. Such development is called full stack development, and such people are known as full stack developers in the industry. So this is the place where your the course name or that word comes here: full stack development and full stack developer. The guy whoever is responsible for the both front end as well as back end development, or the back end and front end development together is known as full stack development, and the guys whoever do that are called full stack developer. So I told you, right, in earlier days, people used to be front end developer separate, back end developer. But nowadays, what is happening? The guys whoever is having the knowledge on front end side, back end side, people are recruiting such kind of resources of the companies. And even the guys who are working in the company, if you're taking the example of such guys, whoever is working on back end technologies like Java or something for around 8 years, something like that, guys are working. Then what those companies are doing is, those companies are encouraging their employees to learn the front end technologies, or whoever is working on the front end technologies, they are encouraging their employees to learn one of the back end languages. So I'm using the word encouraging, but rather I can say they're forcing as well, because they want see their strategies would be different. Okay, some monetary aspects also might be included in that. That is different aspect, but so they want their resources to be aware of the exact the total understanding of the complete web application, like front ends and as well as back ends. So that's the reason they are asking their employees to learn both sides. If they're already from back end, they're asking their employees to learn any front end. If they're already from front end, they're asking their employees to learn one of the back end languages. So that is what okay, fine. This is about your front end and back end. Here, as I talked about server side, here I mentioned Java, Node, Python, .NET, something like. Here, if it is a Java, you use something Spring as a framework. If it is a Node, Express as a framework. If it is a Python, Django as a framework, right? In the same way, when it comes to this front end side also, you're using the technologies HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. HTML is content you will be adding, right? HTML is very simple language actually. Here, what you'll be doing is uh, you'll be using something called tags, just some concept called tags. This is a tag based language. If you know paragraph one, p tag means paragraphs added, like that. For every content to add, one tag will be there. If you learn all the tags, HTML is done. No special programming language, no conditions, no loops, kind of thing. When it comes to the CSS also, same kind of story here. You'll be learning just some property. So as that is a tag based language, CSS is a simple property based language. But when it comes to JavaScript, JavaScript is a main programming language at your front end side. So for this Java, you have Spring as a framework, right? Here also to create some programming at front end side using JavaScript. Yes, by writing normal JavaScript you can do, but if you use certain framework, your development will become easy, right? You know that in the real time scenario, I told you, you won't write the thing without using the framework. In that scenario, you will be having something called either Angular or React. You don't require to one of them is fine as a framework, guys. People will be learning. People must learn one framework, either Angular or React. Just a minute, guys. Yeah, okay, I'm back. Yeah. So in our course, what we will be learning here is uh, complete full stack development, right? Both front end side and back end side. Here in front end side, you will be having something called HTML, CSS, and uh, JavaScript. Along with that, you will be learning either you know, Angular or uh, React as a framework you'll be learning. Coming to the back end, here in this course, in this full stack development course, I am sticking to something called Node.js, guys. Here, Node.js is a technology, and it is one of the fast growing technology, and I would like to stick to that one as a backend programming for C. So in your full stack development course, you will be learning here HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You'll be learning. Along with that, you'll be learning either React or Angular. You'll be learning. Coming to this, this is total, front end side or UI side. Coming to the back end side, you'll be learning the technology as Node.js as a technology, and the framework here you'll be learning along with the Node.js is Yahoo Express.js. Coming to the database here, we'll be learning one of the popular database nowadays, that is like MongoDB database, and which is a NoSQL style database where unstructured data, even if the data is not a proper format, not a structured one, still it supports us to store it. So as it is supporting to store unstructured data, definitely it will be supporting to store the structured data. Why? Because here this unstructured data, if I talk, social media applications, that nowadays whatever data comes from the social media applications is huge data, dynamic data, that is, and that too the data changes every day. See, if you're talking about the Facebook post, today the Facebook post contains heading and description. and tomorrow the same post you can have heading and one image. Next day you can have heading, image and description. Next day you can have only image and description. Next day you can have no heading, no description, only image. Next day you can have heading and video. You understood, right? So like that, the data, the content related to that post, same post only, but the data is not fixed, right? Not structured one, which is keep on changes. So like that kind of data, to support such kind of data, we use something called MongoDB, an effective database. Coming to the technology and server side technology, we are sticking to Node.js. Why? Because see, in the front end side, you'll be learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And coming to the what you call this framework, you do learn either Angular or React. So both are just based on JavaScript kind of learning only. The style of program will be there in the JavaScript style only. When it comes to Node.js and Express.js, you don't that is like server side, you don't require any special technology or specific technology to start from the scratch. You no need to learn a different technology here. Instead of that, what you can do is JavaScript only you can use even for your server side programming also. The only thing is like that is called Node.js. Front end side exclusively we call it as pure JavaScript. But server side, if you want to develop the JavaScript related things, the technology is called Node.js. So the language what you use inside that script, whatever you write, is based on JavaScript technology only. Clear? So that is the reason if you learn JavaScript, which will work for your front end, which will work for your framework at front end, and also your server side program development. At the same time, you wanted to work with the database. Generally, to work with the database, people have to write the queries. People have to write the queries. Queries means like some SQL language, some language one has to learn. But when it comes to this MongoDB, you no need to learn any SQL extra. Here there is a concept called JavaScript. The basic JavaScript, if you know, using that only you'll be accessing the MongoDB database also. Clear? So that's the reason if you learn JavaScript properly, you can learn front-end technologies, front-end framework, and back-end side programming, as well as your database. So that is the reason I'm sticking to this technology. And here in this course, you will be having some HTML, CSS, JavaScript is common. Along with that, if you choose React and any way Node.js will be there, right? And MongoDB. And this course, or this style of learning of course is known as Munstack in the industry. So Munstack means don't think something different. That is also a full stack technology only, but people call it with the technology names. M means MongoDB, E means Express, R means React, whereas N stands for Node.js. If you choose React as a front-end framework. Same thing in other way. If you choose something like Angular, this side, then the green color one, this will be like MEAN, stack, right? But both are same, full stack development only. That is a node only. This is also node only. Node with React as a front end could be called as a month stack, and node with Angular front end could be called as a mean stack. And every day the session will be there, guys, and your session will start from Monday, this Monday, 8:30 a.m. IST, Indian time is the uh, time when your session starts, and this will be around 1 to 1.5 hours, depending on the topic, and that will be the daily session will be there, and you will be having the daily session, and the same session will be recorded, guys, for you. Live session will be happening. Okay, not recorded session. Live session will be happening. The same live session will be recorded for your future reference. The same live session will be recorded, and every day that session will be, uh, posted inside a portal. There is a portal actually. Inside that portal, people will add, everyday recordings, whatever is happening live session. After completion of class, after 2 3 hours, they'll be adding into that portal, and you people will be given that access to that portal, where you people can open that portal, and for your through your credentials you can open it. And by chance if you miss any class any particular day, Next day, if you're coming, you no need to worry like what exactly happened and instead of that, simply you can go through the portal, you can listen to the entire session, and you can come on the next day as a normal guy. You don't need to feel like you have missed something. That is one thing, and other thing is like even after completion of your course as well, if you can, if you want to repeat it or if you want some topics to be repeated, yes, you'll be given access for few months or even after the course completion also, they'll be giving you the access, guys. And coming to the sessions, and every day the sessions will be like interactive, and mostly the sessions will be like practical oriented. You'll be given certain tasks to implement, and I will be doing the task, and I will be asking you to implement a similar kind of task, and as an assignment I'll be giving. And in this way you'll be having an interactive learning that will be there in this course, guys. So that's it from my side. I don't want to put much burden on you on the first day itself, okay, and the demonstration day itself, okay. So that's it from my side, what exactly the full stack development and what the technology you're going to learn and all. So I hope you guys are clear with these things. I hope you got at least some awareness regarding this. So now I'm open to questions, guys, and you can come up with your queries. If you have any queries, you can put them in chat box. I will be answering you, or else you can even unmute yourself and you can ask me, guys, and I'm open to questions.
Is basics of JavaScript enough to start with Node.js?
Yes, yes, enough, enough.
Okay, and Angular is preferable or React is preferable?
So both are having its own prominence. So both are like same, almost like they are like parallel things.
Because the
But
people who have Angular are also they're learning React. So
React has
like
recently React has got some more popularity. Just
uh,
few months, from few months, it's been increased. The
so
learning curve for React is less compared to Angular. That's why people are moving towards React.
okay, React and Angular both can be done to in a single project, is it?
No, no, no. Actually, they are completely different things. So you no need to use, and you should not use also. That is completely
Okay,
different, and this is completely different. Yeah. Yeah. One
okay,
thing, guys. Here, when we finish this, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, at that time, one project will be doing a project one, and then once we learn either React or Angular, at that time, one pure front end side project only will be doing, that is project two, which is like a UI project. Next, when you learn this Node.js, Express, and MongoDB, when you are done with the server side technologies, you'll be creating one pure backend project, that is like project number three, pure backend without any involvement of front end. Next, at the end, whatever the backend project you created as project three, for the same, you'll be creating one front end. In order to support that backend, you create one front end in the Angular or in the React, and at the end you will be clubbing that pure backend with whatever the front end you are creating. So that one together, will be creating one complete full stack application that will be like your project for our application. For total minimum of 4 projects, you'll be creating in this course. The course will last for 2 months, guys, around 2 months. Okay, guys, yeah, you can come up with your questions.
so what will be the course duration for separately for Node.js and Angular?
Uh, the entire thing will be like around 2 months. It will be there. uh, HTML, CSS, JavaScript will be, HTML, CSS is simple only. JavaScript will take some time. After that, you'll be having either Angular or React, and then you'll be having Node.js.
Okay, no, only for Node.js, like how much will be the duration?
1 month it will be there.
Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, Node.js
Uh,
and Express
so,
and Mongodb.
will we have the choice to choose between React and Angular?
Yes, yes, yes. You can choose either Angular or React. Any other questions, guys? Gajanan?
I'm okay with the
Okay. Hello guys, still any doubts? Jay, Mr. Jay, do you have any doubts? Yeah, actually, you'll be choosing either Angular or React. Actually, both are not required. You'll be given course on either Angular or React, and if you wanted to do both, and then you do have some separate for that. And such things you can talk with administration people. Yes. For front end, you can join this course till front end level also. Jay here, you don't want to learn any back end. First I will be teaching HTML, CSS, JavaScript, then React or Angular. Right? So till that level, you can attend the sessions. And yes, that also available. And for that timings and for that other aspects, you can talk with administration people. They'll be in touch with you. Today they'll be calling you. They'll let you know the further details. Manish, have any doubts?
No, sir.
Okay, you're clear, right? Okay. Renu? Hello. Guys, if you're not having any doubt, just let me know in the chat box, just some message like you're clear. Hello, Steven?
Actually, yeah, I'm interested in only Node.js.
Okay.
So, I would be interested in sharing the curriculum of that.
Okay. Only Node.js and backend, complete backend.
Yes.
Uh,
So, if the administration team will get in touch with me, and guide me.
yes. Today they'll be calling you, and they'll be giving you the information.
Okay.
Shravani, you're able to hear me? You have any doubts? You can send your queries through chat box. I think your audio is disabled. Okay, guys, then yeah, it seems like uh, fine for this demo session. I hope you guys have got some uh, clear understanding about what exactly the full stack development is, what are the technologies it is associated with it, right? And that's it from my side, guys. And I'm looking forward to meet you guys in the session, first session. Okay, guys, bye. Take care.